Hey everybody, today I'm going to be reviewing the WLTOYS A959 Revision B 1/18 scale four-wheel drive RC buggy. You may be familiar with this particular model, at least the original model, the A959 was really popular buggy, a big seller for WLTOYS. And this is their newest version, the B version. And what they've done with this is they've instead of the A version had a 390 brushed motor, this one they've put a 540 brushed motor into this, which combined with the 2S lipo makes this thing just crazy fast. I don't have the original version, but I've heard that one was really quick. But this one's even faster. It is nuts how fast this is for a 1/18 scale, car. As you can see on the box, it says here, 70 kilometers per hour. I don't know if it's true or not, but it certainly seems like it. Right there, you can see it. There are several different other versions of this, this buggy with different bodies, a few different trucks, and like a sand dune buggy type version of this one. Of course, the box says Brave Pro or something on it, but it goes by the 959-B. One thing that cracked me up about this was it says strength headphones on here. I don't know, other people I've talked to laughed about that too. Just kind of funny. I don't know what the translation from Chinese was, what they were trying to emphasize, because I think I forget what the original one said. It escapes my mind right at the moment, but it was something that made sense. But this one's just kind of funny, as it has nothing to do with music or headphones. But it has a really, I like the body on it. The Lexan body, it has a nice look to it. Like I said, it's four-wheel drive, full independent suspension on it. Seems fairly well made. Metal dog bones, on all four wheels for all the drive shafts. I got the body on it, I don't have the clips on, so I could take this off. Has these metal bumpers on the front and the back, because you're going to be going so fast with this that that helps the brake part, keep from breaking parts if you hit something, because it's, this is so fast that, your wheels are going to be your most susceptible things to probably be damaged, because it is so quick. But as you can see with this off, look how huge that motor is compared to this 1/18 scale buggy. It's just huge compared to even the 390. This was a pretty common motor, brushed motor size in the 1/10 scale cars, especially back in the early kit cars and stuff in the 80s and 90s. But you combine this with a 1/18 scale and a 2S lipo, and this thing just flies. It has a little trouble even, it will ride a wheelie almost, but it has trouble, going in a straight line. It just wants to almost peel out and spin around, even though it's four-wheel drive, because it's just so fast. But it's a lot of fun. It has a lot of power through the grass. Just a blast to drive this thing. I really enjoy driving it, but you just have to be careful, because it's so quick that you slam this into something, and there's a very good chance that you could break something. But parts for this should be readily available. I'm sure it shares a lot of the parts with the original buggy. Just looking over my notes here to see what else. Oh, you can see that. You probably can see that metal, like blue aluminum drive shaft that runs between the front and rear gearboxes. So, it's, like I said, it's just well constructed. I believe it's just a gear differential. It's not a ball differential, but it works fine for this price point, especially, and for this size. I mean, I've never seen anything this fast before for a 1/18 scale, brushed at least, RC car. It comes with a little wrench here, not too many accessories, and this is for obviously to take the wheels off. It's plastic, but it looks like the wrenches Tamiya always included with their kit cars. It comes with a charger here for the battery. Pretty decent little balance charger. It works just off the balance port, just for 2S lipo. And it takes about 2.5 hours to charge with this. And it'll go from, rather than the green light, will light up whenever, I think it goes on the charger. It'll go to green here whenever it's completely charged up. The lipo, like I said, is a 2S lipo, but it's pretty small, but it's a 1500 milliamp 2S 7.4 volt. Hopefully that focused in, looks like it did. And it uses a Dean's connector. You probably saw it here inside the car. So you don't need to use a stock charger. If you have a aftermarket IMAX or any hobby grade charger, you know, most of them have Dean's connectors. Hook that up. You can balance charge it if you want, and you can still charge it with a balance charge on a hobby grade, you know, well under an hour. Especially if you charge it at, you know, 2 amps or 2.5. You could probably go up to 3 amps on this and charge, and you'll get it done real quick. So you don't have to worry about using that stock charger if you don't want to. So that's always a big plus whenever they use a standard connector like that, and you can use a hobby grade charger. The drive time I'm gonna get on this is about, you know, roughly 10 minutes. Of course, it depends on how you're driving it, obviously. The instruction manual listed about 6 minutes drive time, but I think I had, you know, at least that much probably in the drive review you're gonna see, and it was still going strong. So, like I said, it depends on how you drive it, but I think you can get more than what the instruction says the drive time would be on it. Let's go over the transmitter. The transmitter is quite large. This is a full-size pistol grip. So, you know, it's huge, and you can see, you know, it's about as big as a car. So, but it's pretty basic. You know, the power button here is on the side. I think it takes 4 AA batteries. You know, it has a nice foam grip on the wheel here. So, and the antenna you can tilt or adjust, you know, up and down. It doesn't go sideways. It's 2.4 gigahertz, and it does have the throttle and the steering trim is here on the side, and they're just buttons. I kind of wish they would use dials. It's so much easier to use dials to dial in the steering. You don't usually have to worry about the throttle, but here on the top is a steering trim, and you have to kind of get down and look close to see the tires move as you're bumping it to see which ones, and remember which way goes what to trim it up, because you will need to trim the steering as you're driving it to get it straight, even though it's hard to keep it a straight line no matter what because it's just so fast. So seems to have pretty good range on it, but obviously being so small, I'm not driving it very far away because it's just so tiny. But anyway, like I said, overall it's a nicely built car. I've had a lot of blast driving it. Like I said, just a really neat car, and kind of funny strength headphones on the side that cracks me up. It doesn't have a lot of clearance. You can see my hand here, you know, and it's not that uncommon for buggies. So as you're driving along, you know, the suspension works decent on it. I think they're just spring shocks, and they're not oil filled, but they work pretty good. But it's not that hard to get, you know, caught up on top of something because it's so small. You know, a big giant clump of grass or a rock or something, you can get caught on there, and then it's not going to go. It's just trying to grab because it's just such a small car. But going through the grass and stuff, I mean, you know, if you're not stopping on top of something or it's too big, it's going to just fly through it. So as you see in the driver view, I'm flying through the grass and around the street and up and down the driveway, and so it's just a whole lot of fun to drive. So I'm going to check my notes over here and make sure I didn't miss anything. And I think that pretty much, you know, covers it all. Like I said, 4-wheel drive. You know, it says 70 kilometers per hour, so that's, you know, roughly, you know, it's over 40 miles per hour. I don't remember the exact, I don't know if it was 43, somewhere in that. But I don't know if it goes that fast, but it sure seems like it. It does say here on the box too, that's waterproof, and I'd say that's probably true. You're not going to hurt the brushed motor with water. You know, the servo and the speed control receiver is not sealed in rubber, so I would say, you know, you're probably okay to run it in the rain and snow or through mud, but I would not submerge it. It's not sealed, so you probably would blow out the electronic speed controller if you did that. So I don't know if it has ball bearings or not. It does have, the instruction manual has a good explosive view of all the parts. I didn't look that closely at that aspect, so I can't tell you if it's got ball bearings or not. It probably does. A lot of the cars now are coming with that. So I think that pretty much covers it all on the table review. So let's go ahead and we'll move along to the driver view. Okay, back with the driver view of the WLTOYS A959-B. This is the newest version of this really cool 1/18 scale RC buggy that's really been a big seller, I think, with WLTOYS. But this one, they've added a 540 motor to it, 540 size motor instead of the 390. So this one is rated at like 70 kilometers per hour. So that's like well over 40 miles per hour. And I believe it. I mean, I can't say for sure. I've not been able to, I have no way of testing the speed, but it is ridiculously fast for a little brushed car. Almost so fast that, I mean, it's almost uncontrollable. But it is a blast to drive. Just got to be real careful driving it, because something like this, if you hit something at that top speed, it's going to break it for sure. But it spins out, so I mean, it's almost hard to drive it in a straight line because it is so fast. But it is really cool. All right, let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and turn it on, and we'll bind it up here. Let's find the on and off switch on this side. Reach up under the body here and flip on the on and off switch. You'll see the little red light blinking there. And turn on the controller. And it should be bound up now. Oh, there it goes. This is four-wheel drive, so all-wheel drive. That does help some with the traction, but it is really fast. So let's go ahead and take it out here. That is not full speed. That's full speed. It will at times do a donut. It'll do a donut, but it'll also do a wheelie, I should say. You can see, that's exactly what I mean. It is little bumps and stuff is going to cause it to flip over. So I just kind of inspect it, make sure everything's okay anytime something like that happens, because it is a small little car at 1/18 scale. I have been told that the regular version of this, the A version that has a 390 size motor, is ridiculously fast. So I was really excited to get this with the 540. But you can see it has a ton of power. I mean, it goes through the grass, no problem at all. I'd love to have a little snow to drive it in, but it doesn't look like that's going to be happening anytime soon here. 540 motors are pretty common motor back in the 80s and even the 90s. 540, I should say, brushed motors. Obviously that 540 size is still used, but the 540 brushed motors were very popular. But they weren't this fast on a 1/10 scale on a nickel cadmium or nickel metal hydrate or something like that. The throttle trim on this is a little bit goofy. I'd like to have a dial. So I'm trying to kind of trim up the, you have to remember which way to push for the, to trim up the steering. The steering trim is a little bit goofy. This is so small, I'm hoping it shows up okay on the video here. I don't want to get it too far away. See, it is nuts how fast it is. That's not full speed. That's about half throttle. Get some straw stuck on it here, up in the wheels. I'll pull that out of there so it doesn't get too, there we go, wound up in the wheels. A little wind today, so I hope that's not too much wind noise in the mic. That's why I'm standing on the edge of my driveway, garage here. That's full speed. And that's exactly what happens. It's so little, it just, any kind of a bump, it'll flip over. But it seems to be, where they're well built. But like I said, at this speed, you're going to still bust something if you hit something too hard at that speed. Because it is just, like I said, this is crazy fast. So it kind of got stuck on a clump of grass there. If you 1/18 scale, it's just going to have a little bit of a problem with any kind of large objects to go over. It does say that it's waterproof. Kind of wait here. I'm going for that truck to get away so you can hear my voice. But so I've seen pictures of it. It's no problem driving this in the rain. or through the mud. So it has metal dog bone shafts, so that's good. It's not going to break the the drive shafts easily. You see a little bit of wheelie there. So you just have to be careful with it because it's so fast. They just don't drive it up and try to jump it at full throttle or something that's going to flip. And it's going to get caught on top of a large object. It doesn't have a whole lot of clearance. It's a buggy, so that's not that unexpected. But it's got a not a whole lot of clearance above the tires. So you will get caught on top of something. Being so small, the wheels can't reach the front or back of even a large clump of grass or something. But it has a lot of power, so those wheels can make contact. You see, it's flying through the grass. They're no problem for a brushed motor. So these are really popular, and I think this is going to be a really big hit with the 540 motor. So I got a leaf stuck on it. But it is little, a 1/18 scale, so it's going to get stuff caught in it. But it's got a lot of power. I'm impressed with it so far. I've never had a 1/18 scale, at least not since I was a very young kid. Back then they were a piece of junk. Ran off AA batteries. But I've never had anything with 1/18 scale with a 540 motor and a 2S lipo. And that's a 7.4 volt 2S 1500 milliamp lipo, so it just flies, you can see. So it's pretty easy to wipe it out. But like I said, it's built pretty well. I mean, it's not built out of a whole bunch of cheap materials, and it's got these metal bumpers on the front and back, which would probably really hurt a foot or a leg if you slammed into it hard enough. But that's to help, if you hit something, that's to try to help prevent breaking stuff with that metal they put on the front and the back. You see, it wants to grab, and then it tries to slide. But the four-wheel drive's trying to work there as best it can. Now, I've driven it inside a little bit, and like on some linoleum floor, and if you have enough area and you just pivot full throttle, it'll just spin in circles because it's got just so much speed. But it has these tires, and the four-wheel drive works well enough here that it doesn't quite do it here on my driveway. It's enough traction. You can't kind of do it there where there's a little slicker spot in the road. There was a little bit of a wheelie. Cool. Just have to be careful driver. I think it says ages 14 and up on this, and I think that sounds about right. Being such a small little vehicle like this, you would think, oh, this might be good for, an 8-year-old or something. Well, no, not because of the speed. I would say no, because it is just so fast. And you see it's got some straw here caught up in the wheel. But it is a neat little car, but definitely not something for someone who's a beginner at RC cars, because it's just too fast. A little kid's gonna destroy this really fast. Drive it into that mailbox or something, and it's gonna be smashed. You hit it full speed, probably. I think the easiest thing would probably be to break a wheel. That's probably what you're gonna break the easiest with something this small at that speed. So just be mindful of that and be careful. So I think that's enough to give you an idea how it drives. I think it's a blast. I really have fun with it, and I'm gonna be driving it some more. If we get some snow or something, eventually I will get this back out and drive it in the snow. So that should wrap up the review of the WLTOYS 959 Revision B with this big 540 motor. Awesome little car. Highly recommend it. So thanks for watching, and please be sure to subscribe.